Hello. This will be the first in a series of videos exploring Saturn's transit in Capricorn, current transit in Capricorn, through each of the 12 houses. Now, Capricorn, Saturn moved into Capricorn, I believe around December 20th of last year, 2017, and it takes 2.5 years for it to move through a given zodiac sign. So, what that means here is that we're about 4 months or so into it, out of 2.5 months, or 2.5 years rather. And we're still in the beginning stages of Saturn's move through Capricorn, and in each of our charts, Saturn's move through one of the houses. Now, in the way that I do things, I use the whole sign house system. And if you don't know what that means, I'd recommend looking into it. There are plenty of good videos online. There are plenty of great articles online. Briefly, the whole sign house system uses the signs as houses. So when a sign ends, it is the end of that house. So, for example, if you have, let's say, Gemini rising, it will follow the path of the zodiac for your houses. And so Gemini will be your first house, the ascendant, your rising sign, Gemini, first house, Cancer, second house, Leo, third house, Virgo, fourth house, Libra, fifth, Scorpio, sixth, Sagittarius, seventh, and so on through the rest of the chart. Now, it is a simplified way to do things, but I also think it is incredibly effective. I don't think its simplicity takes away from its effectiveness. There is good reason to believe, as far as I've come to understand, that the whole sign house system is one of the oldest house systems. So this is a system that has been in use for some 2,000 years. There's a ton of tradition behind it, far more so than the Placidus or Regiomontanus or Campanus or any of them. So there's quite a tradition, and I believe there is great value in it. So enough said with that. I recommend looking into it if you have questions about it. Otherwise, that's what I'm going to go with from here, and that's the way I'll approach these videos. So the first one I'm going to start with is if you have an Aries rising chart, or Aries Ascendant, if you prefer that term. So with an Aries Ascendant, you have Saturn moving through Capricorn in your 10th house. And you can look at it this way, that Aries Ascendant, if you're going backwards, then you have Pisces, Aquarius, and then Capricorn. So that would be 12, 11, 10. So Capricorn on the 10th house with Saturn moving through it. It's been there now for about 4 months or so. So you could probably note changes as of 3 to 4 months ago in that area of your life, which we'll then go into talk about. So what Saturn does in a chart as it's transiting is, well, there's a multitude of things, but you can break part of it down into the things that you need to focus on, the things that you need to start putting work and effort into, the things you haven't been trying hard enough at, the things you need to be challenged more with, and let's say, and if you have been working hard in a given area, Saturn can be the rewarder. So Saturn can make sure you get your fair, your due. You can get your due in a given area when Saturn transits that. So if you've been working really hard for something, if you've been challenging yourself, if you've been putting in the effort and haven't seen changes, haven't seen positive rewards from this, a Saturn transit can bring that. So, what does that mean for the 10th house? Because Saturn does this through all the houses in its own ways and in the particular area of expression that the house is associated with. So for the 10th house relates to career in part. That's part of the signification of the 10th house. As well, in a way that Stephen Arroyo puts it that I really enjoy, is the 10th house signifies your action on a material level. And the way he describes this, which I find incredibly helpful, is that one's career, and that's the traditional, one of the traditional significations of this house, is related to how people categorize you based on the things you are doing in the world, the things you're producing in the world. So the 10th house doesn't relate to you being a nice guy, or relate to you being a financially savvy woman per se, or relating to you being a great uncle or aunt, or any of that. The things that sort of, people perceive in you and categorize you a particular way. Rather, this particular house shows the sort of thing you've been doing for so long and your contribution into society that people begin to see you that way. So I guess maybe part of that might be what I was just saying, was maybe not included in that. There might be an element of that. But generally speaking, I would say it's more related to things that are part of the bigger picture. Like, what do you contribute into society? What is your role? What is your place in society? And what do you continue to provide? So that's where you have things like someone being a bank teller, or someone is a manager, someone is an artist, someone is a baker, someone is a cabinet maker, and so forth. So you've been doing it long enough that people see you that way. That is part of how they categorize you in the scheme of society. And so what this shows with Saturn moving through there, and I promise I'm getting to it. I'm moving slowly perhaps, but I'm getting there. So Saturn moving through this area of your life, if you are an Aries Ascendant, shows that you have, let's put it in one of two ways. You've either been working toward becoming a certain something in the world. There is a certain path you've been moving toward. You've been working your ass off to get yourself to this next point. You've been putting in the time, you've been putting in the energy, and it's been building up and building up and building up. This could be the time when the little extra effort blossoms. And this could be the time when you are rewarded with what it is you've been seeking. So you might actually be stabilized in becoming known for something during this time. Saturn, as well as giving rewards or sort of challenging you forward. Some people associate it with karma. So if you've been lacking in a particular area, you're going to get the punishment, so to speak, for doing that. All it really shows is that if you aren't putting in the work in an area, it's going to show, one way or another way. So, with that said, Saturn here can also show materialization. Part of Saturn's signification is materiality. It is density. It is bringing something into the world, into a form. So this is a good opportunity for you to finally push yourself and become that thing. So if you've been putting in the effort over time, let's say you have a business. Let's say your business is, let's say you make furniture. Let's say that. You're a furniture maker, and you've been putting in the time and the energy and the effort, and you're making some money doing it. You're not widely recognized yet. It could be that during this time, if you've been really hustling to make things happen, you've been trying to put out your name, you've been trying to do really good quality work, this could be the time when someone or something occurs that allows you to really take a step up and be seen a little bit more widely by the community, and to be acknowledged as a furniture maker. Now, on the other side of things, where less so of a reward picture, we have the side of things that is more of the challenge. That is largely what Saturn is known most for. It's probably because that we can, a good portion of the time, we can push ourselves more. Most of the time, we're not putting in 100% with everything, and so Saturn challenges us to put in more effort, and it slows things down for us so we can see where we can do that. It can feel like we're slogging through. It can feel like we're really grinding, and that is part of what Saturn does. So in that area, it can show you where maybe you have not been following through with moving toward what you want to become in the world. Now, it's possible you don't even know. More likely, you have some idea, and you've been thinking about it and want to move in that direction, or you're making some initial movements in that direction, or perhaps you're still trying to figure out, you have some general sense, but it's kind of vague. This could be a time to get clear on that, to really work toward taking the steps to get you onto the path. And this would be a good time to really take advantage of Saturn's energy in that particular area of your life. And likely you'll be pressed and pushed to make things happen in the area of career, and kind of sort of becoming someone in the world. So that, I would say, is the gist of Saturn moving through the 10th house for someone with Aries rising using the whole sign house system. And my next video will be the next step along the zodiac in Taurus rising. So look forward to that.